Good evening, class. Tonight we will be talking about who is Christopher Columbus. I am going to read through this presentation. I want you guys to listen the best that you can and come to class tomorrow as prepared as possible. So, who is Christopher Columbus? Well, Christopher Columbus was a very famous explorer. An explorer is someone who travels to new places where most people have not gone yet. Christopher Columbus lived more than 500 years ago, and in those days it was harder to travel from one place to another, being that there were no trains or planes. Can you imagine a world with no trains or planes, or even cars? How would we get from place to place? Well, in those days, people did lots of walking, and they had lots of carriages. If people wanted to travel to one place from another that was not land, they would have to travel by boat. So, people over here on this side of the world, people who lived here in Europe, wanted spices and silk and gold from the people who lived over here in Asia. So long ago, it took days and days to travel across the land, through the deserts and over mountains to get to the fine things that people wanted from Asia. It took a very long time for old ships to sail around Africa to Asia too. So a man by the name of Christopher Columbus, who was a sailor and a map maker, decided he was going to find a new way. So I'm going to stop real quick, class. I want you guys to think about this. What is a sailor? And what is a map maker? Right, a sailor is someone who sails a boat or a ship, and a map maker is actually someone who makes maps. Back in their day, they did not have things such as Siri or Google Maps. They depended very much on people who actually created maps. Columbus thought that the world was round. He thought that if a ship sailed west into the Atlantic Ocean, it might be a shortcut to Asia. The King and Queen of Spain gave Christopher Columbus 3 ships and 90 sailors so that he could try to find a shorter way to Asia. Do you think that he is going to find a shorter way? I'm not sure. Let's find out. Christopher Columbus and his crew sailed on 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. Columbus and his crew left Spain on August 3rd, 1492. They sailed many, many days. No one saw land. Some sailors got scared and wanted to go back home. Finally, on October 12th, land was spotted. Christopher Columbus and some of his sailors rowed a boat to an island. Columbus thought he had landed on Asia, but he really landed on an island that is now part of the Bahamas. So if we stop, class, and we look at the star is where Christopher Columbus started his adventure. He thought that he was going to go down and around Africa and sail over to Asia, but where he really sailed was over here to the Bahamas. And if you take a look at both of these continents, do they look familiar to you? At that time in history, people on this side of the world over here did not know that there were people and land on this side of the world. Columbus thought he was in the Indies, so he called these people on this island Indians. Columbus called the island San Salvador, sorry, I get tongue twisted, and said that the land belonged to Spain. Christopher Columbus explored other islands too. Then he went back to Spain. He told the king and queen about Spain and the islands he had found. Everyone was excited to hear about Christopher Columbus's adventures. Columbus traveled across the Atlantic Ocean 4 times to the New World. He always believed that the land he explored was part of Asia. In the years after Christopher Columbus's visit, other explorers came to the New World. They learned that the land was not part of Asia. The land was named North America and South America. Now, class, do those two names sound familiar to you? If so, I want you to come to class tomorrow and let me know, what do you know about North America and South America? Be ready to prepare and be ready to tell me everything so far that you know about Christopher Columbus. If you need to go back and reread and re-listen to this, be my guest. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great evening.